The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
Yeah, man, baby.
Hello.
Let's fucking go.
Have we started? Are we going?
We're starting. Oh, no.
Not over the relics.
The dirtier this table is, the better.
Get it away from the... What is that?
The relics. That is, that's from my friend John Reeves. He gave that to me. That's a mastodon tooth. Or woolly mammoth, or what's the difference? What is the difference between woolly mammoth and a mastodon? They must be a different
One is
age, a different era. But that's a giant tooth. That there's a company in Alaska, I forget the name, but they it kind of seems fucked to carve into this thing because it is 10,000 years old at least.
How many of them are there though? Do they have heaps of them?
They have heaps of them.
Oh, well, that's...
But this is really cool. It's like they carved a mammoth in it. So what is the difference? According to our sponsor, Perplexity, a woolly mammoth and a mastodon were related but quite different Ice Age elephants. Mammoths were taller, more slightly built grass eaters, while mastodons were shorter, stockier browsers that ate woody plants. Okay.
I was going to say the hair maybe, but I don't, it's obviously more.
Woolly mammoth, right? Yeah, mastodon looks like an elephant.
Yeah, the mastodon horn does look cooler.
They're pretty cool. They're all pretty cool. Do you know they lived on an... Was it? Well, where were the last mastodons? I want to say they lived on an island until like 10,000 years ago or something like that. Because most of them died out. They don't know how they died out, but there's two theories. One theory is people killed them all, which is a shaky theory. Because it's people of 10,000 years ago with fucking sticks.
Were they around 10,000 years ago?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they
We
died.
definitely did that thing.
I don't think so. I think it was a cataclysm. I think it was the same thing that killed 65% of all megafauna. That's the problem. It killed so many different animals like almost instantaneously. Yeah, that's it. 4,000 years ago, Wrangel Island, remote Arctic island off Siberia's coast, had the last woolly mammoths till about 4,000 years ago. Isn't that nuts?
That's nothing.
That's nuts. Yeah, that's like before the pyramids were built.
It's...
No, I mean after the
It's
pyramids
like
were built, rather.
similar time. Yeah, after.
Yeah, after the pyramids. Allegedly. I think they're probably built earlier than that. But the official date is 2,500
I've seen that
BC.
strange man with the beard and the,
Which one?
That man you had on to debate it, who's always clapping back on Twitter and going like, "There's nothing funny about the."
Oh, Flint Devil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Poor fella.
invoke his ire. I don't
Yeah,
want him.
he's
He
got a
seems
lot
like
of ire.
He's got a lot of time and a lot
I
of
actually
hate.
enjoyed talking to him about ancient history related stuff. He has some interesting things about seeds. Like he does a lot of work in seeds.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's actually really interesting how
Like the history of seeds.
Yeah, so say if you have a wild plant, they can tell the difference between a wild plant and an agriculturally grown plant.
Yeah.
And the way is the seeds change. So when you have a wild seed, it is more conducive to the growth of the plant if the seeds break off easier and scatter and they get into the ground easier. So they break free of the plant. But then when you use agriculture, the seeds don't become important for the creation of new plants because you're always taking the seeds anyway and planting the seeds, right? So those seeds are more robust and they hang on more.
Yeah.
So you could tell by looking at the actual seeds themselves whether it's an agriculturally based seed or whether it's a wild seed.
That is good. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, it was really cool. That part was cool. The shittiness is not cool, and calling Graham Hancock a racist. They do that with like everyone who has anything to say about the historical narrative that doesn't fit into exactly what they're teaching or what they have been teaching. They're like so unwilling to accept that there's any alternative timeline, but they keep getting fucked. Because over and over again, they keep finding these new things that are older and older.
Yeah.
Like
But this
Göbekli
happens
Tepe was the big one. It happens in every discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it happens in comedy. There's people that don't like new comedians that are coming up. They don't like what they're doing differently.
You
or
said
they
a thing last night about prop comedy.
Yeah.
You're like, everyone just stopped doing prop comedy at a certain point.
Well, it's
And
because
I
of
also-
Carrot Top.
It's because of Carrot Top and also because the bullying you would receive
Right.
at the moment for having props. There's what, Rick Glassman. Am I getting his name right? I don't know. But he had some props, and he was really funny, and he got away with it. But he's the only person in America, other than Carrot Top, I've seen with any props.
Well, when I started out, there was a bunch of guys who had props. There was a bunch of guys who had props, and it was fun. It was fun to watch. There was Dr. Wid. I forget his name. Dr. Wiz. I forget his name. But he was a guy when I first started out in like the 1980s. He had props, and he was good. He was a funny comic.
It'll be cyclical. It'll come back. Like ladies with ukuleles had to go away for a time. It was necessary that we purge ukulele women from comedy.
How many were there?
Oh my God, I don't know. There was. Is this him?
Legendary Wid.
That's it. Legendary Wid. Yeah, that's the dude. And he would do like science-based humor. He was a funny guy. So this is, I saw him in like 88, 89. But the point was that guy was really funny when he started busting out the props.
Yeah.
And we were like, I was like, why don't you just do props?
This is your thing.
Yeah. Like that kind of humor, his kind of humor, it's almost like it's missing something in just the straight stand-up form.
But there's waves of things become trendy, and then people who can't really do it very well jump onto it, and then it gets lame and people stop doing it.
Well, a lot of it is one guy gets really successful doing it, and
Yeah.
then that becomes his thing.
We had a run of people pretending to be retarded in Australia. It was like
How
5
hard did
years.
they try?
Really hard.
Were they on the border and just slowed it down a little?
weird sweaters, people having like fireworks that they would fire into themselves, and everyone would like come out with cards and read their act.
That's what happens when you take away everyone's guns.
They're trying to take them away again. They already took them all away,
Yeah.
and then somehow we still had a massive shooting, and now the response is, well, maybe we could take even more of them away.
What was the nationality of the people that caused the shooting?
The son, I think, was born in Australia, and the dad. There was a big fight over it on Twitter where people were going, "He's Pakistani."
Right. I remember that, but I don't
not quite
anymore.
Pakistani.
I don't
No.
anymore. I don't get in there.
The big argument was over the religion of the hero who took one of the guns away. So, like, the cops were apparently cowering. That's the narrative. I don't know. But
Right.
one guy ran up, and it's a great video of a guy, like, he runs at a guy with a gun and wrestles the gun off him and aims the gun at him and he does let the guy get away. He doesn't want to kill him.
Which
But
is
then
kind of crazy. The guy just killed how many people?
Oh, and then I think the guy gets a gun and goes on killing people. But
No.
but he's not a killer, this guy who wrestled the gun off him. He was just
beat
a
him
heroic
in the
man.
head with the butt, like in the movies.
I don't know what I mean. I
You
wouldn't
hit
have
him and
ever.
then they
I
go to
wouldn't have
sleep.
ever run up to a man with a gun. I would have been out of there. But the argument was what religion was the guy who took the gun, because people on the right really didn't want him to be a Muslim. They were like, it was a huge thing on X of
People on the right didn't want him to be
because
a
it was
Muslim?
Muslim shooters. But then it looked like he was his name was like Ahmed Al-Ahmed or something.
But hold on, why would the people on the right not want him to be a Muslim?
Because then you can go, this is a Muslim thing. Muslims were doing the shooting, and we can just go, let's deal with the Muslims.
Oh, you mean the guy who captured the guy?
The guy who wrestled the gun off him was
Right.
also a Muslim, which then makes it like,
Oh, so
the
was he?
heroic guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his name is like Muhammadson.
Imagine being a regular Muslim and having to deal with these crazy
That'd be
motherfuckers.
nightmarish. There he is.
That guy.
Yeah, people love him. But
Why
man,
didn't he
people
shoot the guy in the foot? If he didn't want to kill him, shoot him and blow his
because
fucking
no
ankle
one can
off.
really do that, and then it's a big. Look at him go.
Oh, that's amazing. And he doesn't do anything.
He doesn't
And
do-
so
no.
the guy just gets away?
The guy does get away.
Oh, this is not good.
But then after he lets him get away, I think he drops the gun and he goes away, and then he gets shot again in the arm. But who
my
knows what to do when there's a live.
Yeah, you don't know what to do. Well, that's a not good person. That's a good person.
He
Didn't want to
is a
kill
national
anybody.
hero at the moment, and I think if he had, man, people wanted him to be a Maronite Christian so bad. The Groypers were desperate for him to be. There was a lot of people going, well, actually.
You know, that's the real problem we have in this country. We want to pretend that people actually exist in groups.
Yeah.
Even if there's high percentages of people from groups that are doing bad things, there's still a giant percentage that are not. And to alienate all those people by just lumping it all in as one group together. Imagine you're a peaceful Muslim and you have to deal with this shit.
Oh,
And you're like, guys, I just want to pray. I'm just trying to find oneness with God. That's all I'm trying
I
to
love
do.
twirling.
Yeah.
I'm one of the twirling ones. They're my favorite ones personally.
What's a twirling?
The twirling dervishes, they just love twirling. They love to twirl. But the
Twirling.
It's
I was trying to figure out what you were saying.
But this is what's weird. So after that, the government comes out and is like cracking down on right-wing extremism because it's a lefty government, and they go, we have a problem with right-wing extremism. So now they're trying to reclassify, globalized intifada jihadism as a form of right-wing extremism, which I guess
Well,
it's
you
not
have to-
commie lefty stuff.
Well,
but
you have to look at it on paper. Objectively, it is.
Yeah, but I don't know how much they hang out. I don't know if these
They
guys.
don't.
I don't think these guys are reading like, I don't know, William F. Buckley Jr. and
It's
stuff.
still. Let's break down what is right wing then. Okay. Let's say this. Okay. Do they want to completely control women's behavior and completely dictate whether or not the woman can leave the house with certain clothes on, what they're allowed to do, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of a right wing thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Total religious adherence. They want a religious state.
Yeah, but the Taliban want to dance with little boys. That seems like a left-wing
That's
thing.
a separate break-off group. They're like the Baptists. They're like
Yeah.
the Catholics. You know what I mean? You got your regular
We deny that.
Christians, and then you got some other motherfuckers that are out there running wild
But
with
you're
new
talking
rules.
mainline.
Mormons. How about this?
What
You
are
know I mean?
Mormons?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like they're a break-off group. It's not the ones who are banging the boys. That's not normal. There's a lot of guys out there that are Muslim that are not banging boys. So when you connect them with the Taliban, they're like, hey, bro, I'm just praying over here.
It's all people just trying to have fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Who
but
am I to judge anybody?
The problem is then when you push these people, it's the same thing that happens when you call everyone a racist. What do? You get a Nick Fuentes. You get a guy who emerges who's got the balls to shit talk and have fun and say wild things that are very inappropriate and sometimes racist. That's what you get. You get someone embraces that guy because you've been told you're a racist just for being white.
Yeah.
You know, you've been told that there's something wrong with you, white male. Like there was a time where someone would say something in comments all the time, and I'd watch these people arguing, and it was a common thing to say, as a white man, I think you should probably shut your fucking mouth. Like as a white man, like you're a white man, you're disqualified from having an opinion on something because you are a white man.
Yeah.
It's another form of racism. It's just an accepted form of racism that's really weird.
But then like Nick Fuentes is getting all his other ideas through as well, because he was the only person saying things that the average person would think was kind of normal.
Well,
I've been
he
thinking about this a lot,
was,
'cause
but then he
Andrew Tate-
wasn't. A lot of the stuff he was saying, that was not something the
Yes.
average person would think.
But
is
you
normal.
sneak your other weird stuff through, like when everyone's going.
Right.
You know, like when he's getting attacked for going like a black neighborhood is going to be more violent on average in America. You go, yes, I've traveled around the country, and that is, I think there's a long history for why that's true.
Well, it's factually correct.
That seems to be correct.
The question is, though, why? And that's where it gets uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because the real reason for why is a host of factors. But the primary one is crime and poverty. The primary one is they live in a community that's filled with crime and poverty.
Yes.
And if you have and drugs. And if you have a community where people are selling drugs and it's crime and poverty, you're going to get a lot of violence, whether it's an Italian community, Armenian community, any community where you got a lot of crime and a lot of poverty.
I first came here, I went to Appalachia.
People are going to get killed.
There are white people doing crazy things.
You ever see the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West
I watched
Virginia?
it like a week ago.
Fucking amazing.
The most charismatic family I've ever seen.
Knoxville did that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
he
executive
produced
producer.
that. Yeah. Bro, that
It
dude,
made me feel so homesick. Look, I was only there for a couple months. I wanted to go back so bad.
the dancing outlaw.
When they're like, Granddaddy had a new way of dancing, and it's the most insane. You're like, was that really going to take off?
It did.
Was that the style of
Bro,
dancing?
when you're on meth, it's awesome.
I mean, meth
it's the
was
perfect
least
dance
of their worries.
style.
They were.
Oh, they were on everything.
They were on a lot.
How about the lady? I'm always been thought of as the sexy one. She was a stripper, remember her?
Yeah, no, I
The
did.
voice.
I did a big
these are
deep
real
dive on
people.
Wikipedia
Here-
about them afterwards.
Here's,
She stumped a kitten.
which one's dancing here?
This is Jesco, American Outlaw.
Jesco
Oh, okay.
is.
He's the younger guy.
He's
Well, he was at the
Jesco
time.
lives out the legacy.
Excuse me?
He's like, he keeps the dancing alive. He's the one who's a celebrity in the show.
Right,
But
right,
then there's
right.
another documentary about him, and in both documentaries, he complains about a woman making his eggs wrong. I
Yeah,
remember
that's that dude. Yeah.
He's
yeah.
got it. He's a charismatic guy.
Yeah, he said he would cut her if she gave him ruddy eggs. I was like,
Sloppy eggs.
settle down, bro. Like maybe we shouldn't be celebrating this.
But I think one of them just got out of prison. I think the one who at the start
Thank
of that
God.
documentary.
I hope Trump got him out.
He
Who
was
got out? What'd he do?
the one who shot his uncle in the
Oh,
throat.
that
Remember
kid.
guy?
Yeah.
I think he just got. That's the sexy one.
I've always been
And-
the sexiest one in the family. Listen to what she said. How the way she says it though. The voice is incredible.
It's just pictures.
Yeah. I think that sexy one. I think she did get in trouble for stepping on a cat.
Well, there was a thing in that film that was interesting, though, towards the end, where you see, like, some of them are trying to, like, move away from that life. One girl got sober. So there was, like, a take to it where they realized, like, hey, this is not sustainable. This is a crazy way to live. I'm a mother. Like, what am I doing? You know, and she was trying to get out of it, which I think a lot of people do come to the realization if you're in that kind of a community. I got to get the fuck away from these crazy assholes and stop doing meth.
It is, yeah, I think.
But it's how do you do it? See, this is the thing. This is the thing. When you say, like, is it true that there's a higher percentage of murders that occur in black communities? Right. But as opposed to poor communities? Like, what about, like, in deeply impoverished communities? Like, and then when you introduce a history of gang violence and crime, and no one ever does anything to stop it, it's going to stay the same.
Yeah.
Whether it's in Appalachia or whether it's the Hatfields and the McCoys, all those motherfuckers that were killing each other back in the Wild West days. I mean, it was probably horrible back then. Why? Because they let it be that way. Nobody did anything about it. You couldn't stop them.
And I think some of the solutions for it are very bad. This is I don't want to speak out of turn because it's not my country. But, like, when I've been driving through it.
People love to come to America and tell us what to do. I love it.
I think it's the greatest country in the world, and I repeat that again.
Me too.
But when I drive through, like, a bad area, and there's, like, a Planned Parenthood with a line around the block, and things set on fire, and you can just, like, I know that Planned Parenthood started out as a eugenicist organization, where they went, like, that was the lady who founded it, that was her thing. And you can really see in those neighborhoods, it's like, if you have a child here, you're going to be tied to this community. We want you to get out. We want people who have the spirit to get out of here and to live a good, full life in America, not to be tied down to being in, like, a really difficult, crime-riddled area.
Yeah.
So abort your children so you can get out. Seems to be the... I think they're still doing the eugenicist thing of being like, just be free for different reasons, not because they want to dilute the numbers in the population or whatever, but because they go, you've got to be a free person who can leave and children will tie you to a place.
Yeah, that's a way to look at it.
That was when I was driving through, I forget what, Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin? I don't know. I just hit with this. So, oh, man. It's like usually the rough area of a town is lifted up by a freeway in America. Like, you don't, if you drive into Chicago, you're just way up here on a freeway, and then you come down into, like, the most beautiful buildings you've ever seen in your life. And people go, it's very scary over in the other part of Chicago. And you go, I never saw it. I was
above it.
I was 30 feet in the air.
Yeah, that's
But
a
in
good
some
move.
places, I have driven through it, and I've gone, or I've stopped, and you go, there's someone's, like, if I lived here, I mean, there are some areas that are so rough, where it's like, man, if I lived here, I would go and steal and kill from the people who live 20 minutes up the road for sure. Do you know, like, you just drive 20 minutes up the road and there's a German town and everything's
Right.
perfect and everyone's rich and everyone's beautiful.
Yep.
And this doesn't happen in, I don't know, I'm from a very flat country by
Just
comparison. The
imagine
highs and
the
lows here are
idea-
incredible.
Oh, the highs and lows of what? You mean
America.
You mean poverty and wealth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like the Bronx being an
yeah.
hour from the Hamptons.
Okay, if your New Year's resolution was change everything and be a new person, good luck. So instead of pretending you're going to meal prep kale forever or do morning cold plunges, here's one actually realistic thing, AG1. AG1 is a daily health drink that supports your energy, gut health, immune health, and helps fill common nutrient gaps. Just one scoop in cold water each morning and you're off. It's got over 75 vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and whole food ingredients in there. So instead of guessing whether you need a probiotic or a prebiotic or sorting through 10 different bottles of pills and powders, you can just do one scoop and get on with your day. It's great because it feels like the grown-up move, but for once, it's actually really easy. It takes like 30 seconds, and you'll notice the steadiness that sets you up for the day. Not wired, not crashing, just functional human being energy. I've partnered with AG1 for years, and if you want to give it a try, head to drinkag1.com/Joe Rogan, and for a limited time, you'll get a free AG1 duffel bag and free AG1 welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription order. Only while supplies last. That's drinkag1.com/Joe Rogan or visit the link in the description to get started.
And you can,
all of it's real close. I used to say that, like, when I lived in LA. I was like, you know, people, they're like, this is a good neighborhood. I go, right. But you know, people from a bad neighborhood can just come into your good neighborhood. You know about all that, right? When people are like, why do you have dogs? Why do you have guns? I was like, what? Like, do you watch the news?
Yeah.
Are you fucking crazy? Like, You got to be careful out there. And most of the time, it's not going to happen to you. The 99.99% of people will never experience anything awful. But to not have any idea that it could ever happen to you is bad. I think the real problem, and this is the one that just doesn't get addressed with any politicians ever, is something massive has to be done to stop this like ancestral, like this lineage of people that are coming from these crime-ridden places, and no one changes anything about it at all. We had a cop on once from Baltimore, and he was telling us that while he was on duty, he found this like crime sheet, a doc sheet of all the things that happened in like 76 or something like that. And he was reading all the areas and all the crimes, and it dawned on him. It was like, oh my God, like this is the same crimes in the same area decades later, and nothing has changed. They need to do something huge. Like, treat that as if it's an untapped resource of human potential, because that's what it is. All those people in that community, if they had been born and raised with different families in a different place, completely different outcome. A giant percentage of who you are is dumb luck. And if the people that got the worst luck to be born in a crack house or be born in a place where there's gang violence on the street every day, and you go to school and you have to pick a gang. If you don't pick a gang, they'll fucking kill you. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're not gonna do anything but what everybody else is doing. That's what most people are gonna do. The few that are gonna break out, maybe they're musicians or an athlete or something like that, they break out.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you're fucked. But what it is untapped and unrealized human potential that's going to waste on the most stupid fucking shit in the world.
But then when you try and do something like that in America, the pushback is huge. Like, I think
what is the pushback of investing into communities?
Well, I would say, like, in a small, like, I think the National Guard going into some places.
Okay, that's different. So that's
what it can look like sometimes. Like, there are definitely,
that's what
like,
it can look like under
Portland-
this administration.
Portland, there's got to be a better way of doing it.
Well, you're just going to get too much pushback. But what you can't do is let it get to the point where it's feasible to call in the National Guard.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. It's like their law enforcement has been so handcuffed by the administrations, especially in northwestern United States. Like, everybody, they don't get enough sun. They lost their fucking mind. Everyone's depressed and everyone's trans. It's crazy up there. It's crazy.
I was just in Portland. I was in Portland just before the National Guard went in, and I was in Portland, like...
How insane?
It's so much... You can walk around a little easier.
After the National Guard?
I will say, like, I know people were very upset in Portland about that, but I think just quietly they were going, it's kind of nice to be able to walk to the train station again.
The mayor in D.C. thanked Trump.
Yeah.
She's like, this is like the safest it's ever been here since you brought in the National Guard. Like, but the problem is that sets a fucking precedent. So here's the thing. If it's necessary, let's say you have a place that's a literal, not even a real place, a fictional place in America, where there's a literal gang war going on, and dozens of people are getting shot every day, and it's basically a war zone. Let's just imagine a place like that. You would say, okay, it's probably a good idea to bring in the military and control that, because the entire population is at risk. It's very dangerous. It's a literal war zone in the middle of a modern American city. We have to stop that. So, well, the thing is, it's okay. People are lighting newspaper stands on fire. People are doing this. People are breaking into Starbucks. Let's bring in the military. People aren't obeying the speech laws. Let's bring in the military.
Yeah.
People are not using their digital ID. Let's bring in the military. It's like there's got to be a separation between our army and our civilians, and it has to be a big fucking reason to break that separation.
I mean, you did it in the 60s in the South. When, like, busing
Don't
came
say
in.
me. I wasn't even born.
Y'all.
Don't say me.
The United States, when Jim Crow was happening in the South, the military got sent in, and people you desegregated the South by force.
Right.
So that was deemed to be like an appropriate use of, like a monopoly on violence to enact a social change. Like, you're not going to have segregated schools anymore. We're going to have the military there and make sure that this works out.
Crazy you have to bring in the military to get people to allow black people and white people to go to school together.
I mean, yeah, they didn't want it.
Well,
it's just so weird when I go to the South now, because everyone is so friendly and people do seem to get along, and you go, your grandparents were, like...
Brother, they had to rip the
doing
Band-Aid
the craziest
off.
stuff.
Well, it's
terrible. I mean, that Emmett Till, I just found out about that after I got here. It's unbelievable. And they were still shooting the Emmett Till statue that they put up. They had to like replace it with a bronze statue so the bullet holes wouldn't affect
Really?
it.
That's what was going on?
I believe that was what was happening until like quite
sure
recently.
it wasn't just one KKK dude that ruined it
may
for
have been
everybody
one
else?
dude.
You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. You get one wacky guy in a neighborhood, and you're like, that's a racist neighborhood. They were shooting the Emmett Till statue. Meanwhile, it's one asshole
could
works
be
at the
one
tire
guy.
shop. You know? One fucking dude smelling his own farts and loading up his rifle.
That one Arkansas MMA fighter who kept saying that he loved Hitler did a lot to hurt the reputation of that football team.
Yeah,
Because he
Bryce
always
Mitchell.
had the Razorbacks in the background.
Yeah, that wasn't a. I think he did not phrase that well. I think there's a lot of people. Here's the thing: there's a lot of people that become experts, and I'm guilty of this as well. By you're talking about something where you maybe watched a YouTube video. You know what I mean? Like maybe you read an article about it. It's some fucking Politico. Who knows? Who knows where you read it? It could be some crazy right-wing source. You read something, you took it as fact, and then you talk to a bunch of other people that also take it as fact. And next thing you know, you start talking and
You have the
you
biggest
start
show in the world?
saying shit. Yeah, that's me.
Okay, but people always criticize that. People always have a go at the podcasters for like spouting off on things that they're not.
Yeah,
don't have
but
a
that
PhD
is
in.
what I do.
But how come there's no responsibility on the mainstream legacy media for having gotten really, really boring over the last
Not just boring.
15, 20 years?
Boring is.
I would say
that's
lying as
no,
well.
No,
But people-
compromise.
compromise-
Completely compromised. Totally untrustworthy. Completely compromised.
I just got the New York Times app because I thought I'll have a look at that. I finally got enough money where I can pay $1 a week to be on the New York Times app.
Yeah.
And it's so, I mean, it's just, they've built Twitter. Like the experience of it and the scrolling on it, it feels like you're in Twitter, but only mediated through selected journalists from the New York Times. And suddenly you're like, I'm just stepping into for a moment whatever bubble that is. I wanted to take a look at it.
Well,
It's like
I think they're all going to have to course correct. I think they're all going to have to realize
They're
that
trying.
it's not being intellectual, like a true intellectual, a true progressive, by only looking at things from one perspective, and to automatically assume that anybody that has a different perspective.
Oh.
Hey, we're back.
there we go.
Where was I?
So they need to have a course correction. We're talking about the mainstream media and that
Well-
they've lost that many people.
That's what I'm saying. Was that you can't proclaim yourself to be intellectual by only listening to one perspective and to being like very aggressive and hostile about the other perspective. Immediate ad hominems, immediate attacks on, lumping everyone in together, associated, like we were talking about earlier, associating ancient history with racism. Like you're doing that. It's a little trick you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not having a real conversation. You're being a bitch. And this kind of communication sucks. It sucks for the left. It sucks for the right. When people on the right, it's a bad human communication skill. If you were good at it, you would want other people to have different opinions, and you'd want to hear those opinions and talk to those people.
I think they're trying to course correct. This is what's
You
weird
have
to
to.
watch. And it's who they're. I don't want to. They love Schultz at the New York Times.
Well, he goes over
They've
there.
picked him. Yes, they've
But
picked
he
him. out.
goes
They're
in
like,
there and
we can
talks
work
to
with
them.
you.
Yeah, well, he's very
Starvey,
smart.
They want him.
Sure, and he's another guy who's very smart and very fun. So like they want these people because they've been kind of locked out of the fun.
Yeah. Well, they just pretended that it didn't exist.
Do you see
for-
Schultz talk to them though?
I
when
haven't
he talks to
on
them?
the round table.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
it's
great.
hilarious because they're talking in these bullshit terms.
Yeah.
And he's like, hold on, let's just talk real here.
Where he goes, the Jews, and everybody laughs because
Because he's a comedian.
he's allowed to be funny.
Yeah, and there's another one that he did with another guy. I forget from what other mainstream media publication. It was the same sort of situation. And to have it that way, where it's a one-on-one conversation, then you get to see like the weird way that they actually think and communicate. The bubble, like when Tim Dillon was
The
on
CNN one. I
Yes.
was going to say that's why I moved my ring up
Amazing.
because she kept asking this. She didn't want it. They resisted releasing that as a long form thing.
Yes.
And you can see why, because she's asking the same question 3 or 4 times in a row
Yeah.
to try and bait something, which is not how a conversation works. where
We
you go,
pressured them into putting the
"Really?"
whole thing out.
She keeps going, real?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Real? Just to get him, because he's a fun guy, and he wants to say something funny, and she's like baiting him
Yeah.
to say something exaggerated.
Yeah, Jon Stewart had the best response to this whole thing. He was talking to some guy from the New Yorker, and they were talking about this podcast, and he's like, they were talking about different opinions and different people that I've talked to, and he's like, but Joe Rogan has the biggest audience in the world. He has a bigger audience. He's like, well, go get a big audience.
Yeah.
Go get it.
It's not like they don't have the finances.
Yeah. You just go figure it out, do it right, and you'll get a big audience. Like, it's not that fucking complicated. I don't have pyrotechnics. There's no CGI. There's not even a crew. I mean, there's a skeleton crew of people who do this.
But I think some of it is it's this like ivory tower mentality of if it becomes like that, they think there is a sense in people who have got like a very big education and have gone through the whatever system you have to jump through to get to an elite legacy thing, is that most people are too stupid to have like an open and honest conversation with.
Right.
And that if stupid people like you, then that's a problem. That's how they're viewing the world, and that there's like...
Well, they're also viewing the world in that they're protecting people from opinions they don't agree with. Even though they listen to those opinions, it has no effect on their position. They keep the same position.
Yes.
But they're worried that people dumber than them. It's a very condescending thought process.
To think that you're the only open-minded person.
Right. And not only that, and people that are dumber, which is most people, you're going to fall into the trap of what this person's saying that I don't agree with.
And there's... Yes.
Yeah.
And that the only way to get people to listen to you is to like spin lies. Like, you can't just be honest.
Exactly.
Which is what I think the podcasting thing is. It's what it is. You can't really put on a facade for 3 hours talking to somebody.
Maybe you can.
I think that might be who he is at this point.
Yeah, he is definitely that. Well, that's why I wanted to do a podcast with him. So you could say 3 hours. By the way, no questions beforehand, no prep, didn't pee, sat there for 3 hours. He's almost 80. Like, if he was wearing a diaper, respect. But the guy just fucking hung out for 3 hours. Does that mean I agree with everything he does? Fuck no. Of course not.
But he
That's
was able to be
ridiculous.
himself for 3. He was able to talk for 3 hours. Whereas Kamala wouldn't do it.
Well,
She wouldn't do it.
could have. She could have done it. I'm telling you, man.
I
It would
watched
have been
her
fine.
for 6 minutes on Stephen Colbert, and I don't
It's
think
different.
she could do it.
It's different. He's kind of being like an interviewer, right?
Yeah.
He's in this weird position where he's at a desk. The desk is beside you for some reason, because that's how they always used to do it. So these fucking uncreative people just do it the exact same way always. It doesn't make any sense. Why does he have a desk? Is he writing? What does he have?
Yeah.
Does he have pens in the drawer? Like, what are we doing here? Like, why am I on a
The
couch
microphone
over
has to sit
here?
on
Why am I
something.
sitting down, like, to the right of you? It's weird. It's always in the same position. Host is always to the right.
Yeah.
They're always to the left of the screen. It's goofy, right? So he's doing this thing that you only do on television in front of an audience, by the way. You should never have a conversation in front of an audience. Because as soon as you do, the people are aware of the audience.
Yeah.
You're aware of how people think and feel, and you're playing to them. And some people say things to try to get a rise out of you in front of the audience. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, it's a different thing. But if you're going to have like a really important conversation with someone, you don't want to do it in a fucking audience. So Steven, the way he's doing is handicapped from the jump. Also, you only have 7 minutes before you have to cut for commercial or whatever it is. You can't do that. It'll take me 7 minutes to ask what she likes to cook. I want to know I don't know. I want to know. Is there anything that she regrets doing? What has she learned from this time? Is it more complicated being a vice president than you thought it was going to be? Like, what is the web of trying to fix things and change things versus the people that are influencing you to make decisions? Because we're not pretending that people don't spend a lot of money to influence your decisions. So how much of an effect does it have?
What do you actually believe when they come to you asking
Right.
for those favors?
What would be better? Could we take money out of politics? Would you be willing? What would we do if we completely eliminated corporate funding of any politicians? How would that change everything? Those are the kind of questions we could have talked for hours about.
But
that.
they don't. She doesn't want to do that, and the people around her. This is what I mean. There's something that the right used to have this as well, and both sides of politics had it. And I remember there was like Howard Dean, I think it was, did a weird scream.
Yeah, one scream.
time, and the whole thing fell apart. And that really stayed with me. That I remember watching politics, and there was some sense of like everything is very manufactured, and if you make a single mistake, oh my God, you're going to lose the primary. It's all over. And Trump destroyed that with the Republicans, where it all became we've just got to like hang out and talk, and everyone got very loosey-goosey on the right.
Yeah.
And the Democrats have not adjusted to that and had their... Like Bernie could do it. They just froze Bernie out, and they did everything they could to stop him coming through.
Right, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. you could not have a person like that before Trump. There's no way. There's no way.
I mean, you can't have her with. She's gone.
She's
right?
gone now.
She's gone.
But she wouldn't have existed without him. Like that sort of
Yeah.
brash, crazy personality, that had not existed in a congressperson.
And there will be someone on the left who can do that. at
Jasmine
some
Crockett, she's doing that.
point. Man, maybe.
She gets aggressive
She
and
does.
loud, and they get crazy with
I
each
like-
other. Listen, it's a
I
reality
like
show
her.
now.
I know people don't like her. I think she's hip. She would maybe come on the show.
Okay.
Have you
It's-
invited
it's
her
a
to come
re-
on the show?
No. I
I'm too
think,
scared to have me on the show.
I think a lot of them
come up
are
with rhymes about
probably
you?
very nice people. Very nice people. And this is not an attack on any individuals. I think that system turns you into a sociopath. That's what I think. And I think there's very few people, Tulsi Gabbard, my friend, being one of them. I love her. She's amazing. She's a real person. Like, that lady is the same person on air, off air, meeting people, hanging out with her husband. I've hung out with her hours and hours and hours. That's who she is. She's cool as fuck. And she was a congressperson, but she has horror stories.
Yeah.
When she tells you, like, what it's like on the inside, and when you find out how these people are making hundreds of millions of dollars on $170,000 a year salary, and no one's batting an eye, that is kind of kooky. It's kind of kooky, because even ones you wouldn't suspect, like, wait a minute, they're worth how much? Now, you don't really know how much they're worth, right? You'd have to get an audit, right? Because what you're hearing is a reporting of what they're worth, and it could be total propaganda. It could be half of what it is. But even if it's millions, even if it's a couple million, if you've been a congressperson for 2 years and now all of a sudden you're worth $3 million and you were in debt before you became a congressperson, that's suspicious. And if you look at the people that invest money, that's where it gets really crazy, because it is not a blue thing and it's not a red thing. It's both. Everybody is making money on the stock market. There's a shitload of these
Yeah.
people that are buying a bunch of stock, and then conveniently a short time later a bill gets passed that they were working on that makes it very profitable for that country. Stock shoots through the roof. They make a giant windfall.
I'm trying to remember who said it. There was some line that someone said about, like, you can sort of believe what you want in American politics and you'll get rich for it. And, like, no matter what you actually believe, there's a group out there who are going to get you rich for having a belief in it. Like, if it's the environmental people, if it's the fossil fuel people.
Right.
I mean, there would be varying scales of it. But also, you can fix this. Like, there are ways to
Fix the money in politics?
I've been reading a lot about Lee Kuan Yew.
Who's that?
He was the dictator of Singapore. They might not like that. Because he won.
Don't go there.
He won elections. But Singapore is like a single party state.
Oh, so it's like when Putin wins.
I don't want to get in trouble with the people of Singapore.
Listen,
But it is notable that one party wins every single time, and they don't primary, and they win almost all the seats, and they are really popular. But he brought in, like, canings, and he got drugs out of the country, and he started paying the politicians a lot. Like, if you're a politician in Singapore, you get a huge salary, but you are not to ever be corrupt. Like, you're meant to have enough money that they can't really buy you. And that might be the only way, because if you have, what are they earning? $170,000 something a year. To be a congressperson. If they are making $3 million a year, and the punishment for taking money from anybody else or from getting a stock, maybe you can't own stocks, but we give you $3 million a year.
Right.
Then at least you can't be swayed. Like, you're taking a lot of tax money to do the job, but at least there's some insulation on someone being able to go, I want you to vote this way.
I think if you have a totalitarian dictatorship, you could probably pull that off, because if the politician is bad, you can shoot him.
Yes.
The problem in America, if you have $3 million and you know a guy who's got $50 million, you feel poor because we're retarded. All right? Brian Callen has a friend who's worth $8 billion, and he feels broke because his friend is worth 30.
I don't.
No, for real.
Yeah.
There's people that get that goofy.
I've seen it a couple times.
So if you're in the business of trying to make money, which is what most politicians are, it's like they decided not to go into sales, they go into politics, they're trying to make as much money as they can while they're there.
Yeah.
Right? That's what most people are doing with most jobs. If you're doing that and you're just kind of a person who's drawn to that kind of a job, you're not going to be happy with your salary if you find out that there's some NGO that you can invest in, and you can start a nonprofit, and then it becomes a profit, and you can funnel money overseas, and then corporations that you buy into also can use the the laws that you're passing. You're going to do it anyway. They're going to do it anyway.
This is why Plato says
they're
not
say,
allowed to touch money.
I cannot be corrupted. You'd have to kill them. If you catch them corrupt, you got to shoot them in front of everybody. You're going to say, this is what happens when you steal from America. Boom. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm saying that's the only way you're going to stop it. It would have to be a totalitarian dictatorship, but then it brings us back to the thing about using the military in the cities. When do you draw the line?
Yeah.
When do you draw the line? Okay, what's hate speech, right? So hate speech can mean a bunch of different things to different people. So as soon as you say we can't permit hate speech, okay, well then you can't permit freedom of speech because you're just defining hate by whatever. That's the same line when you bring the military into those cities. It's the same line. It's like you're doing something you shouldn't be able to do, and you're justifying doing it, saying because this is a special case. But the problem is, what if that gets solved? You're going to move further to the even more ridiculous. You've already got me to allow you to arrest. You can arrest me for tweeting things. Okay, I've already said yes to that. So what else is next? Like you're gonna keep going. If you make money, you want to make more money. If you pass laws, you want to pass more laws.
Yeah,
that's how you get numbers on the board. That's how you win this fucking game. You can't let them ever score.
Then you have to de-game the system.
Well,
long term, if you're going to have a democracy, you have to have.
Yeah. You got to de-game the system. But the problem is there's so much profit in it, and they get to vote on whether or not they can still do this insider trading thing, right? Which is bananas. Like, who thinks we should still steal? Oh, can we have an anonymous vote?
You don't have this problem with an aristocracy. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
if you finally go back to the powdered wigs and silk stockings,
there's a terrible argument for that. Because you're just hoping that the person is a benevolent dictator. That's the best case scenario. You get a benevolent king. But how many of those have ever existed?
We've had so many beautiful benevolent kings. We've got a benevolent king right now in my country.
It's strange, right? It's like there's no right way to run people because no one really should be one. There's never a time where it makes sense where one person is the head dude of 350 million people. That is nuts. That is completely nuts.
Yeah. But you also, I mean, as a country, you have a great tolerance, I think, compared to other, like, Western democracies for letting there be some chaos.
Yeah, because we have guns. That's part of it.
I think
this is a heavily armed country.
Tolerating chaos allows you to have the guns, though. Like, if you didn't have the virtue of going, some people are going to get shot, and we're going to be okay with that.
Well, it's not just that. It's like, it was written into the Constitution because we were rebelling, right? We were rebelling from a dictatorship. We had escaped. And when we had declared that this was a country, we were like, we got to stay strapped because these motherfuckers might come back. And we all agreed to that.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where people go, okay, but they were talking about muskets. Now people have AR-15s. Now people have, switches they can put on Glocks and it can fire automatic. Like,
is a tactical nuclear weapon defended under the Second Amendment?
You want to hear the scariest thing that I heard? This is a guy that was talking about the UAP program and the back engineering of flying saucers.
Yeah.
What do they call it? A simultaneous or a spontaneous? What was the word that he used for it? Instantaneous. That these UFOs that they believe use some sort of a gravity, some sort of a propulsion system that's unknown to modern science, standard conventional science. And they can literally transport, like going from place to place in space instantaneously. And so what did the United States government try to do? They tried to use it as a method of delivering a nuclear bomb. So an instantaneous nuclear payload delivery system. That's what they were calling flying saucers. The first thing they thought about doing with them was instantaneously deliver a nuke. So no one could retaliate and they didn't even see it coming. You would just have a flying saucer with a nuke appear at the Kremlin.
Now, what's weird though, you guys had that capability for years.
Allegedly.
No, I mean,
mean
when
the bomb?
when no one else had the nuclear bomb, and when we didn't have good anti-air programs, and just America alone had nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
You could have at that point. You could have said,
Went
we're in
ham.
charge of the world now or everyone's dead.
Well, there was a bunch of people that did. I mean, that's what Doctor Strangelove's all about, right?
You made movies about it and you talked about it, but
Yeah.
you didn't do it when the Suez crisis kicked off. I think Eisenhower was like, can we get a nuke in there? And people said, no, Mr. President.
Bro, they came real close to nuking things 3 or 4
But
times.
what a beautiful thing that you
Didn't.
held back.
Yes.
No one
Yeah.
else would have. I talk about this. I think about this a lot. That like, if anyone else had discovered the nuclear weapon, that's it. You'd have global hegemony by one power.
Well, I think
forever.
that is one thing about America that most people will agree to, is that we like to think of ourselves as being the best country in America, and that comes with responsibility. Being
Yeah.
the greatest superpower comes with responsibility. That's why people get real uncomfortable about like drone bombing statistics and shit like that. They get real uncomfortable because it makes you really question like what we do.
Yeah.
When you when you tell people, did you know that like more than 80% of the people that die in drone bombings are civilians? Accidental kills.
Also, every time someone tries to be nice about Obama, then they have to go, oh, we're the drone bombings. He did drone
Yeah.
bomb a lot of innocent people.
I know. They always have to do that. Listen, I think we found out through Obama, most likely what you find out through anybody that gets through there that's not Trump, is that they immediately co-opt you into the system. You had no idea how the system worked until you got in there. You were a senator for 2 years, and then all of a sudden you're president. You have some amazing ideas, and you're a great spokesperson, and probably the best statesman we've ever had. Like the best representative of the best about America. A guy who is from a single mom, grew up poor, didn't have a silver spoon in his mouth.
Yeah.
Forget about all the narratives of him being related somehow to the Bushes. There's a lot of that.
I didn't know that.
Oh, there's like a whole conspiracy theory. But the point is that what you got is a guy who was promoting hope and change, right? And that's what we were all really hoping was going to happen, but not. It was really kind of like another Bush term in terms of like foreign policy, in terms of a lot of things. In terms of like the way America felt about America, though, it was good. It was like, hey, racism has obviously like stopped being an issue to get you to be the president of the United States because a black man just won. And it's not saying that racism doesn't exist, but we're doing better than we used to do. This was not possible when Martin Luther King Jr. was making his I Have a Dream speech, but it is possible now. So we have progressed. And he's brilliant. So it's and he's like well measured and calm and peaceful, and he never calls reporters piggy. He never he never makes mean tweets when his enemies die. So as a representative of America.
It's gotten to the point where the Rob Reiner tweet just went over. It just like...
It killed it for a lot of people. Yeah.
Is that it? But like, no, I mean, I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, of course. He's mocking a dead man.
Well,
That's
that
what
guy
he's-
tried to jail him for, year. And this is not forgiving him for that. This is not
Rob Reiner
excusing
tried
him.
to jail.
Oh, my God. There's a video of him working with intelligence agents. He was working with James Clapper and who's the other guy? Clapper and... Why? How come I can't remember that?
I still think it's a good
But there's
policy
like a
that once a guy
well-produced...
dies.
Oh, 100%.
Just it was with McCain as well. I remember
Yes.
that they hated each other.
I know, 100%. It's gross. It's a gross thing to mock a man after he's dead. It's just pointless. But the real problem is it's a bad look for America in general, right? It's a mark of cruelty that ultimately could lead people to think differently about America and perhaps motivate attacks. That's a real thing. Like a kooky person, you can sway them either way by the vibe the country's giving off.
Yeah.
When the president is giving off a vibe that, his enemy, he's mocking the fact that his enemy was obsessed with him.
Also,
and
I've had
that's
friends-
what led to his son going crazy and killing him.
I've had friends come over and visit me, and almost all of them have been scared to come. Like people who haven't been to America before.
They're scared to come to America?
People are very scared to come to
Good.
America. Yeah. Well, this is like not
What are they
Hondurans.
scared of?
This is just Australians who are like, there's gun violence. It looks, if all you're seeing is the news, you go, well, civil war's right around the corner.
Well, that's
and then
what
you're
they
here,
want us to
and
see.
it's like,
That's what they want us
people
to
are
see.
way more interested in college football than killing each other in the street.
Especially in Texas.
Yeah.
Most people are way more interested in living their lives. The problem is when your life becomes that. The problem is when your life becomes a cause. When your life, whether it's a religious cause, a jihadist cause, a right-wing cause, a left-wing cause, your life becomes a fucking cause. You know, we have to stop oil now, and you're gluing your fucking hand to a painting. You know, there's a lot of nutty, stupid shit that goes on with just being a human being. And it's all accelerated by social media.
But I find it heartening that people give a shit here.
Yeah.
That people know on some level. Maybe they don't have like a good grasp of what's actually happening in the world.
Yeah.
But there's a sense in America that people kind of know who their politicians are. They're across what the issues that they're being asked to vote on are. And this, like, in Australia, the extent to which people have no idea what is going on and are so checked out and don't know any of it and are not like actively participating in democracy. You guys really care. Like, people primary and they scrutinize people and there's some belief that you can still get involved in politics here. It's like the most heartening thing about it.
That's awesome.
And that's the downside is if everybody cares, then you get people going off the deep end.
Well, you just got to keep it a fair game. And as long as you keep it a fair game, if you don't do a good job and that person gets into power, you fucked up. So now your team has to regroup and rebuild and come back again in 4 years. And that's what it's supposed to be. But when you start trying to do things like moving all the illegals to specific states so that you get more congressional seats because of the census, and then you start giving them Social Security numbers and Medicaid and Medicare, and you start rigging the system because you want to like bring in more voters, and you're spending, and this is what they did. This is undeniable at this point.
Well, Fetterman was cop to it. He was like, yeah, that's how you do it. I saw him on you.
It's undeniable what they did. And I get it. Like, you're playing a dirty game. They're playing a dirty game. And this is not a right or left thing. I remember that Hacking Democracy documentary that was on HBO back in the day. It was during the Bush administration. And this Hacking Democracy, they had tested these voting machines. And this is a long time ago, right? So this is like, what was it, like 2004, Jamie? What was that? Somewhere around then? So this was a much less sophisticated system that I'm sure that they're using today, but there was a third-party input. For some reason, it had been set up so a third party can input data into the machine and change the votes, and they did it on TV. They showed that they could do it easily, and they affected the votes. So they showed back then, they were essentially saying that the Bush administration had rigged the vote, and that's how they got Bush into office. And this company that made these machines was a big contributor to the Republican Party. So this shit has been going on both sides.
But that was true.
Man.
I mean, in 2000, that was true.
So
everybody thinks
here
the
it is.
JFK election.
The film investigates, for sure, the JFK election, the flawed integrity of the electronic voting machines, particularly those made by Diebold election systems, exposing previously unknown backdoors in the Diebold trade secret computer software. The film culminates dramatically in the on-camera hacking of the in-use working Diebold election system in Leon County, Florida, the same computer voting system which has been used in actual American elections across 33 states and which still counts tens of millions of American votes today. Whoa, today? Is that real? The same fucking machines?